Bering Yachts, a yacht builder gaining popularity in recent times due in part to coverage from some rather well-known YouTubers, but mainly because they build some rather excellent yachts. And it all started with this man. Alexey Mikhaylov, entrepreneur, fisherman, family man, and I have to say a really nice guy. He builds these rugged explorer yachts on the south coast of Turkey in the Antalya Free Zone. Such has been his success that he now has 7 facilities in the area, working alongside some pretty big names, and drawing of course from the same pool of talented workers in the area. Well, I flew to Antalya to meet Alexey and his team to take a look at their production facilities, to take a sneak peek at the largest yacht that they've built to date, and that's towards the end of the video, and to report back to you. The first facility we looked at was their main facility, where many of the offices are located. Here we saw a 117-foot Bering in the very early stages of construction, and next to it a 92-foot fully custom yacht that was far more advanced. Launch, in fact, is scheduled for next month. Across the road, facility number 2 is dedicated to the Cat, a truly exciting go-fast catamaran that's actually well worth a video all to itself for another time. And a little further down the road still is production facility number 3, dedicated to making the aluminium superstructures of the Bering yacht range. From here we drove a little farther from the main office, but still in the Antalya Free Zone, where there are 2 sheds quite close together. In one of these sheds there are 2 Bering 80s in construction. This is currently the most popular model that the company produces. And at the side of the 80s is a 121-foot yacht that's further along in the production process. It was particularly exciting to see in the 5th shed, just a few steps away, the second hull of the Bering 145 already being built. We'll be looking at hull number 1 towards the end of this video. The 6th facility that we looked at was quite different. This is where the cabinetry for Bering Yachts is produced. All of the cutting, bending, joining, and let's say dust generating work is done on the ground floor. And on the next floor, the polishing and varnishing is carried out. And the last shed that we looked at is another very busy production facility with a 65, a 72 and a 75 in early stages of construction. You'll notice that work on the steel hulls is carried out on one side of the shipyard, whilst an aluminium superstructure is being worked on at the other end. Steel and aluminium don't make great bedfellows, so Alexey was telling me that he's building a wall between the two. And from these production facilities, a truly magnificent range of yachts is produced. Their website shows a very impressive model range under 24 metres. The Bering 65, with a range of over 4,000 nautical miles. The Bering 70, with a range of over 3,000 nautical miles. The 72, which can take you over 4,000 nautical miles. 75, again over a 4,000 nautical mile range. 77, still offering more than a 4,000 nautical mile range. The 80, which as I said is their most popular model and actually has a range of over 5,000 nautical miles. And the 85, once again with a range of over 4,000 nautical miles. And that's just under 24 metres. Over 24 metres we have the Bering 120 offering a range of over 4,000 nautical miles. The 125 with a range of over 4,500 nautical miles, and of course the well-publicised 145 that shall be capable of cruising for over 4,000 nautical miles on one tank. And I was rather surprised to see this on their website, a funky looking Bering 180. I didn't get the chance to talk to Alexey about this on this trip, maybe next time. But what makes Bering Yachts different? Well, I visit a lot of yacht builders and each one has their own buzzword, whether it's quality, design, style. That's not the word that Alexey uses most frequently though.
Safety. I think safety translates to comfort. Very clear and very straight. We all, when we're looking for a neighborhood to live, we're looking for a safe neighborhood. We're looking for a safe country. We're looking for a safe environment. So when we travel, we're picking safest airline so that we can relax. That's why safety is important besides the safety itself. For example, safe boat, you start to feel it when you're in a safe place, you start to feel it when you see the waves are uprising and nothing happened. Boat is not squeaking, it's not flexing, nothing make noise, it's still silent, motion is predictable. It's part of safety. You will not injure yourself in motion in the rough water. To ensure that boat is safe, first of all, we strictly follow requirements of the class. As we talked before, our small boats under 24 meters is also comply with a class or have a class certification. So that's one thing, and another thing, we just use experience and common sense in trying to use safest and most reliable equipment. We deliberately overbuild our hulls to achieve the weight distribution which we aim for this GM around 1 meter for the comfort, and it's actually safety as well, so the boat is stable. The class they don't talk about interiors, they don't talk about anything like how the boat looks or anything. The boat have to fit certain requirements in stability, insubmersibility, damage stability, and all aspects of elements, windows, gaskets, insulation materials, cables, wires, pipes, hoses, everything is specified. And everything's supposed to have some sort of certification. And everything, like all interior materials, have a fire certification. So we just follow the procedures, and all these class books, they written by some experiences. They were created in a period of more than 100 years. It's sort of consolidated experience how to avoid problems and troubles at sea. All the small boats, like we talked before, we adopt the super yacht technologies, and just you will see it today. You will see 145, which is a charter class large boat, 500 GT, and next to it is Bering 76, which is 130 GT boat, 22.5 meters, and you will see that all the systems done the same identical way. Unfortunately, I spend less time on the boats than I wish, but almost every week I'm on the boat, and it's very busy schedule here in the office. The company is developing rapidly, but we're planning when the demo will be ready. It's not only me, we introduce all employees of Bering Yachts to the boat, and we take in the trips together. And in my opinion, people who build a boat, they must understand how to be on the boat, how to live aboard, how to travel, what does 5-meter waves means to 20-meter boat. So I want all people who involve in creating and selling and building the boats understand what it's all about. All interiors you can disassemble without destroying them, and you can assemble new interiors with the same sub-interiors. It's a system. I will not go into a lot of details, but it's a lot of standard elements which we use on all boats, including this fast mount system. So you basically can strip all the interiors off in a matter of couple of days, and without destroying anything, and install new interiors in a matter of a couple of weeks, and have every square inch of surface brand new with a new generation of materials, new lighting fixtures, new handles, new everything. So you will have virtually new boat at the fraction of the cost. As a whole, materials, we definitely prefer steel. There is nothing match. Actually, very soon we will have a video, it's sort of educational video, where we're comparing steel, fiberglass and aluminum. And I firmly believe that every material serves the purpose. We don't need light boat. Light boat is not a comfortable boat, so we're not trying to minimize the weight, which you need to do when you have a planing or semi-displacement boat, because it's directly related to fuel consumption. So our weight is not related to fuel consumption, our weight related directly to comfort. And we come up with some ratio which we call comfort ratio. It's a GT divided by tonnage of the boat, displacement. So in a super yacht, this ratio is around 1. GT and displacement, pretty much the same. When we're talking about smaller boats, this ratio is going down to 0.0, 0.7, 0.6, 0.5 sometimes. The light boats go fast. And this ratio is great for the light, fast boats, but it's not giving you comfort. It's not giving you comfort to move through the water. It's not giving you comfort to be anchored at the water. So we realize also when we divide our displacement and gross tonnage that our small boats remain around 1 in this ratio. So we found it great, and we analyzed a lot of other boats. We found that we are the only one pretty much in this small under 24-meter boats who basically keep the same ratio as a super yachts. So again, weight and volume. So your volume should weight a certain, it's very directly correlate with the cars. You know, like light, flimsy car will weight you maybe 900 kilo. I'm talking about mid-size car. Solid car, again, Volkswagen 1.3. BMW is 1.8, so, or Mercedes. So the more luxury, heavier weight, you don't necessarily get bigger car, you get denser car. Density gives you comfort. You feel like it's flying over the road. It's absorbing all the bumps and everything. So same with the boat. Exactly the same. Often we get in comments from the customers. They come with ideas which we find very, very, very bright, and we adopt some of the ideas with tweaking layout. And of course, boat shows, furniture, like Furniture Fair in Milan, make a lot of impact on me, like all the transforming things and some other things. It's constant process of learning, and also we, unlike fiberglass boats, we upgrading our models constantly. So it's a process. It's like a cars. You see, let's say I'm always using Volkswagen Passat. I love this car. So it's you see the evolution from day one when it started, I think, in the 90s. So maybe it's what, 11, 10 generation of Passat, and same with the boats. We improving it, we improve, and then, like say model, the 70 model 2023 will be another body. Let's say it's not just a little cosmetics, it's just another body, and we aim to do with all boats. They have to be constantly improved.
Well, close by Alexey's office is the marina where the yachts are launched and then prepared for delivery. Now, I know that many of you watching this video will want to take a look all over this, which is the Bering 145. We will be taking a look at a couple of details of that yacht in a moment, but first I wanted to show you the yacht that's lying directly in front of it, which is a custom-built Bering 76. It's actually been built specifically for a couple who do want to circumnavigate the globe. But it has some great details that I want to show to you before they cover it up. So first of all, this is the stairwell that goes from the main deck to the lower deck. And before it's all finished, it's a great opportunity to show you some of the soundproofing measures. Starting with the steps themselves, where in between the plywood, there's a layer of cork, and that's before the actual step is applied to the plywood. This is done so that that irritating noise of people walking up and down the steps can be avoided. But also look at this. Here we have the ceiling of the lower deck, insulation, a pad before the actual steelwork of the deck. And then look at all of these layers here. You have a layer of rubber, another 2 layers, this thick layer of green foam, more cork before you actually get to the floor itself. All done so the soundproofing, so that if you're sleeping in your cabin below, you don't have to hear people walking above.
So this is our customer's favorite color. This is the MS color, where he has throughout the boat used this interesting orange color.
And this
here, this is the fast mount that we put on the ceiling, so we can refill it afterwards quite easily. So these are the elements you put inside. We have it in a CNC machine, screw it and just plug it inside the ceiling.
Amazing. Bogdan Gusarev, who's the sales director for Europe, was just showing me an interesting feature on one of the ceiling panels. Now, some yacht builders will use Velcro to put panels up, some will screw them in. At Bering, they use fast mounts. They're those hard plastic balls that fit into these purpose-built sockets here and pop into place, keeping the panel secure. While I'm on the subject, by the way, did you see the head height here? I'm not particularly tall, but neither am I particularly short, and that is extraordinary head height on any yacht of any size at all. But back to the panels, the great thing we've been able to pop them in and pop them out is, first of all, that you have great access to all of the wiring and all of the work that goes behind it in the ceiling, which is really important when you're doing maintenance work. Now, the Shipyard are able to give you a wiring diagram, a piping diagram, so that you know where absolutely everything is. You can locate it, pop off the panel that you need, do the work that needs to be done, pop it back on, and away you go. For a refit, if somebody buys the yacht and they just don't like the colour of the wood, it's so easy now just to make new panels in a different colour of wood and pop them into place. And every single one, I think you can probably see it here, every single one of these panels has a code number on it. So if something's damaged, for example, you just tell the Shipyard the code number of the panel, they can replace it for you. It's really a highly advanced way of building yachts. So here we're in the tank deck. The last time I was in a tank deck was on a 60-metre fed ship that had a volume literally 3 times the size of this yacht. It's really quite unusual for a 145-foot yacht to have a tank deck, and it's a reflection of Bering's big yacht mentality, even though the yachts they build are a lot smaller than yachts that typically would have this. Of course, the main idea of a tank deck is to be able to give you access to the tanks, to be able to inspect them. There's the gauges that show the levels, but it's so much more than just that. If you look behind me, you have access to the bow thruster engine, the bow thruster tunnel. Going all the way aft here, we have 3 washers, 3 dryers, so that if ever the yacht does charter, that will be a very useful feature to have. Large fridge, large freezer, there's a sink there for people to keep their hands clean. It goes all the way back to the engine room so that the chief engineer on board can work on the engines, come all the way forward, do anything he needs to do with the bow thruster without ever disturbing the guests that are on board. I would have loved to have done a complete walkthrough tour of this yacht and shown you all around, but as you can see, there's so much work going on board. It would have been a delight to have shown you, for example, this crane with a 6,000 pound capacity. You can lift an 8-metre tender with this. You can put Hycercats up here. But it's been very kind of Bering to allow us to film with so much work going on, and I actually salute Alexey, I salute Bering for their approach to yacht building. There are so many yacht builders that take a very precious approach to allowing videos to be made of their premises. They want everything to be staged, everything to look absolutely perfect. That's not the reality of yacht building, and it's not what Bering are all about. If you want your yacht to be built by somebody wearing a Hermes tie with a silk handkerchief, Bering may not be the place for you. But if you want a rugged, quality, safe explorer yacht built by a down-to-earth, speak your mind, yacht-using owner, you can do no better than coming to Bering.